Peace, peace. Let me turn that volume up. My volume wasn't up. Sorry about that. What up, Mose? Moritz. Thank you. Oh, you crazy. Thank you, thank you. Yep. Let me see how I want to turn. Peace, Morris. Peace. We're about to get this started. Islam. Peace, Abir. Abir, did you get your 101s? Did I email you the 101s? Hey, brother Babe, brother Abir, did you get the 101s? Did I email you the 101s? Did you get them? So, okay, so before I got them, so do you understand the question that you asked me now? If you read your 101s, did you study it? Because I'm going to ask that question that you asked back to me. If you're studying now, you should be able to answer your own question, right? Right, Brother Solomon? I hope we on the same vibration. I hope we on the same vibration, because if you got the 101s and the question that you asked me, so you should understand the answer there, right? So you should be able to point me to the right direction. Right, Noble? So the question that you asked me, if you read your 101s and you study your Moorish Quran, because that question that you asked me, and I said, if you have your teachings, you should know that answer. And if you're unfamiliar with it, what you do, you ask your Noble for illumination on that subject. So that question you asked me about, do we believe in Christ? And you say the one in the Bible. And I said, what manifestation are you talking about? What context are you talking about? And I said, based on what type of teachings? And I said, well, if you study your Moorish Quran, you understand both manifestations. And then you can, how can I say? You can at least ask for enlightenment. If we're studying our teachings. And that's what I tell brothers when I say, just because we wear the fez is great. That's a part of self-identifying. But we're supposed to be under the right teachings, man, because this fez is law. And it's your national headdress. And we don't wear this fez in clandestine. You got to understand that this is our national headdress, our foremothers and forefathers. So our religion falls under it. But it's our national headdress. And you must be able to defend this fez. You must be able to defend the Constitution. You must be able to defend history, law, civics, finances, history, linguistics, history, all dispensations, finances, agriculture, if you are an adept. This is no game. More science is no play. When I talk about these Kemetic degrees, a lot of Moors diss masonry because they don't understand our science. And I show y'all over and over in our adept wisdom where our prophet removed the veil of these religious, of the so-called secret societies. And I've continued to do it over and over and show you that this is our science. If you don't believe that, well, why you think the European and the Negro Mason is only 32 and 33 degrees? When I tell you that's snowman wisdom. And you get the 32 and 33 degrees when you put the fez on your crown or your captor. Especially in your instruction number 2. That's 360 is just material wisdom. 33 is just material wisdom with 33 times 3. And if you don't understand these Kemetic degrees, then you need to be honest and stop dissing things that you don't understand. Because this science is way deeper. The European Mason and the Negro Mason, they take all our signs and symbols and take something that's inwardly and made it outwardly. If you study your Moorish Quran, if you study the teachings, and if you study the ancient teachings, you'll understand this science comes from the Akashic records. So, Brother Abir Bey, before we get into these teachings, I'm going to ask you, because you asked me a question, and that's how I challenge my brothers, especially brothers that say they students and members, when I say, what are you studying? Because if we're Moors, this is what we do over and over and over. We teach it to our children. We teach it to our families. So we don't go on assumption. It's nothing wrong with being initiated. It's nothing wrong with being under the right organization. It's nothing wrong with that. That's the only way we're going to have something. If we organize. I keep telling Moors, and there's no 3 different forms of Moor science. It's only one Moor science. Just like it's only one law and it's only one history. You got to understand this. Everything else is arbitrary, religious, connotated BS, dogma. And you know this. And you know this. So we must be clear on what we're promulgating and what we're teaching in the world. Because I tell people every day, Moorish science is nothing illegal. You're not no damn sovereign citizen. You're not. Your nationality is Moorish American. Your race is Asiatic. Your status is white, free white, if you want to give it in that context. You are home. That expatriation bullcrap is a fraud. When they ain't telling you, when you think you're doing that, you're stateless. The 1010 number, that number is not no damn trust fund. If any more tell you, if I see any more talk about they some trust, some 1010 on their trust, you know damn well that's a fraud. The 1010 ain't nothing but a damn affidavit. It's a religious affidavit. You can look that up from the CCRD. That's right, Noble. I'm glad you said that, Noble. It should be okay for me to challenge us without our feelings getting involved. Islam, Noble, and I'm glad you say that. That's why I say I'm a teacher. We let all these people miss. This is what I told them more one day, Noble. I said, you huffing and puffing at your brother that love you correcting teachings, and you've been miseducated all your life. I don't see you correcting no teachers you went to school with. I don't see you on no corner at no university protesting that pseudo academia where your babies come talk about they some damn African and they come from some damn slavery. When somebody telling them some Jesus or some Yahshua, some damn white man, you ain't challenging that garbage. You see what I'm saying? And then when brothers get upset when I say that's not scholarship, what these Negroes be talking about, that's arbitrary explanation of garbage. Because scholarship and what I call it peer-reviewed scholarly research, you don't have to like me. I do the science and it can be refuted. And a lot of Moors are not adepts. They just giving themselves titles without being initiated. And that's fraud to me. That's fraud to me. Yes, some of us are born with a, with a certain aptitude, with a certain ability to articulate particular subjects in hand, like geniuses. But we know that. But then just because the Negro put a fez on it, he automatically called himself some scholar because you on Google University. And to me, that's fraud. Just because you got a Black Law dictionary, you know damn well you won't defend yourself in no court or nobody else. See, and this is the games that I tell people. You playing with people's lives. Because somebody got some Black Law dictionary, they think they can defend themselves. And I'm like, that don't mean nothing. And none of that stuff you going to court for, you wasting your time. If you have it next to your bed, your L to your name, the simple stuff, because you're not changing nothing. You're correcting a misspelling and a pronunciation. And every true Moor know exactly what I'm telling you. If anybody telling you to get rid of your last name, they're a liar and a sin. You need to kick them in their rear end. I'm telling you, man. And I'm telling y'all flat out facts. You need to stop letting people get y'all caught up thinking they can make you some ID card like you claiming your nationality. That's nothing. And then I challenge Moors. I say, okay, well, if you done claimed your nationality with some Negro with a fez on, show me where you claimed it at. You done gave this fool all your information, your social security card and everything. You got some stupid piece of ID. What that mean? It ain't even part of no Moorish vital statistics, which is on the back of our card. It ain't part of nothing. It ain't part of nothing. So how can somebody think about this? Print you some ID card, they ain't part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they printed you something. You just wasted your time and you've been hustled by some Negro with a fez on and a turban. You fell for that garbage. And I tell Moors, if that's law, if they can nationalize you, tell them to go nationalize the Chinese or Sudanese. I guarantee you they can't, but they'll bring that garbage to you. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. I'll show you the adapt wisdom. We don't practice that in no temple. That's garbage. Any Negro doing that to you, that's garbage. The only thing somebody can make you is a Mason. Your ID card for the Moorish Science Temple is for that. Your travel ID card for the Moorish Science Temple is for that. Our tax exempt ID card is for the Moorish Science Temple. That's it. That's it. I promise y'all, man. Do y'all think Noble Drew Ali was driving around without no license? Do y'all honestly think that? Our prophet had a driver, just like these so-called sheiks telling you you got the right to drive with or without license, and that ain't have nothing to do with no federal offense. And I bet you that person telling you to do that, I guarantee you they ain't driving. I guarantee you they ain't driving without no license. I guarantee you that person that's driving them has an operator license. I tell you, I know this for a fact. We got to stop playing, man, and be under the right auspices. I can't nationalize you, and I'm part of the temple. I'm a sheep, and I tell you, and all the temple is not right. I'm gonna always tell you the truth. I'm gonna always be transparent. I don't give a damn. If all the temples was right, we'd be bringing all brothers. We'd be on the corner with our bull horns. Hey, brother and sister, come to the temple. We get you a Moorish ID. Once we have 30,000 Moorish ID, Negro, blacks, and color, misnomer Mexicans and Latinos, we got 30,000 to proclaim, declare, and have due process. You know what we doing next as an official? We taking it to the world courts to do what? To claim our nationality, which has been done before. I told you I'm gonna demonstrate all this. So we gonna eliminate all these damn liars. Talk about you don't need this no more. You do. You need everything. Our declaration, the proclamation of status and jurisdiction for the Moorish Americans. I'm just gonna go through this. I'm not even gonna stick with it. I'm gonna show y'all this stuff should go viral, man. We gotta stop playing with these goofball Negroes with these damn TV shows playing. If you ain't building and under the right auspices teaching, we need to cut all that garbage out. I'm gonna jump around it, then I'm gonna teach us this science. And every more, it ain't no 2 or 3 ways. It's only one way. It's only one way. Everything else is garbage. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. So I'm gonna give you a preface of understanding the importance of status and jurisdiction. When we talking about we do things the right way, the Moorish American way, legally and lawfully. We ain't got time to be playing with these clowns. Listen up, I'm gonna skim through it. Every more need this. Our PDF, I told Moors, give a donation, you will get the science. Listen to this. Understanding the importance of status and jurisdiction. Our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, ISIS. Can you hand me that big book, that Exhuming of the Nation book right there? But in our prophet, his biography of Noble Drew Ali, in this appendix, you have been prepared for its grand finale, the Exhuming of the Nation. Right there. Let me say that again. Because see, Moors be acting like they don't want to share stuff with people. I say, man, this ain't no secret European Negro society. It's sacred. It's sacred to me. That's why I said I'm a teacher. And I have degrees. So we gonna deal with this science. You have been prepared for its grand finale, the Exhuming of a Nation. The Exhuming of the Nation. When I show you, when I break through all this, and I show you, when I reveal, or when I remove all that garbage them Negroes talk about they can nationalize you and all that garbage, and I remove the veil, all them secret societies. I show you who Haram would be fifth. I show you who the Daughters of American Revolution. I tell you what this stands about. I tell you these Negroes don't have the power to make you a nationalized nobody. That's a lie and a sin. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. We should be done with all that garbage. The Moors just because they can go on a damn the Mason fraternal site and get a damn ribbon that say adept on there and talk a whole bunch of old stuff, but they don't know no science. You're not no damn adept. That's just like somebody saying, oh, I'm a doctor in medicine, and you perpetrate. You ain't no doctor in medicine. No, I don't have these, man. These cost, man. These expensive, Noble. I go through a third party to get these. I go through a third party to get the Exhuming of the Nation, man. And I'm telling you, Amazon, a lot of them, they don't have them. And Moors used to be like, oh, no, like, I promise you, I get them for a couple $100. But what I'm about to do, just be patient, because I'm about to produce something real fast, and all the Moors going to have it. I break every chapter down. I'm going to break each chapter down for you. What I'm going to do when we go through this whole chapter, I'm going to break each chapter down when I do it, and then you can have it simultaneously, and you'll be able to put it together. But I get these through a third party. So if you want the book, all you got to do is inbox me, and I'll tell you how much it costs for a donation. I can get you the book. It's no problem. And it's a donation instead of just buying something. Remember that. When you're a student and a member, it's a donation. You get a taxes and receipt. So let's finish. But the introductory guideline to what may be the most important document ever written concerning the freedom of the so-called Negroes, blacks, color, and current African-American people. What? This right here. I'm telling you, when I talk about the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment, when these Negroes be talking that garbage, they don't know history, Moors. We need to fall in line with real history and stop playing. The document that follows is the Proclamation of Status and Jurisdiction of the Moorish Americans, and it's also their Declaration of Independence. I want to jump through this, though, because I don't want to stay with it. These similar proceedings were duly filed into the World Court in the HAGUE, the Hague, Netherlands. Remember I was telling you about the truth, the duality of the AA22 number? Once we proclaim, declare, and have due process, when it's 30,000 Negro, blacks, and colored, mixed number Latinos, Americans, we proclaim, declare, and have a due process with the petition, and we take it to the World Courts in the Netherlands against the United States. Also down through the years, various organizations, groups with fiend nationhood attempts to the United Nations and Geneva, Switzerland, in desperate pleas to be recognized as a people. Watch this simple science. This is what we should be. This is what we should be teaching our babies: true history. Not no arguing over no who did this. Man, it was Moors way before our prophet. Our prophet came back and told us that we wasn't Negro, black, and color, and told us we were Moorish Americans. But this history is deep, man. The gallant and sincere efforts to break the lawful bonds of Western incarcerations has been steadily for over 400 years of African slavery in the Americas, but have all been denied access to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When I break that down in our civics teaching, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, when you hear these goofball Negroes, we don't need that no more. I say, you a fool. The art of war is understanding how everybody think, not no damn gun. Give a damn about your gun. For one reason, none of these sincere people gave back the black names. Do y'all hear me? None of these people gave back the black names acquired during the time of slavery. All went before the nations of earth, pleading to be accepted as either what? Negro, color, or black people. Y'all follow this history. All, and they didn't know and proclaimed themselves according to their one true free national name, thus declaring the new proper status. When I tell these Negroes, when you listen to these fake Moors call themselves some damn sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple, and I say, what temple? Talk about you change your last name. I say, you a damn lie. You don't change your last name. You're not honoring your foremothers and your forefathers. You change your last name. That's your family crest. You annex your B and your L to your name. And to all your government officials, your birth certificate, your license, your college degrees, you annex your B and your L. You got to know this, and you don't need no special form to do it because you ain't changing your name. And if anybody tell you that, they lying. Point blank. We gonna clean this garbage up, man. You're not no damn sovereign and no citizen either. No people can be free while clinging to names that delude to slavery. And you simply cannot be yourself and be what others call you. Case in point, Moors. A Nigerian was named colored during U.S. slavery. The slavery ended in 1865, but the Nigerian, as the late of 2004 and present, will only answer to color. The status and jurisdiction are legally out of sync. And according to all true records of divine order, Moors, all creatures and creations are first named according to the nature, time, and place of its origin. Nations, tribes, and families of man are not the exception, but the God of the universal law. I hope you all following this science, Moors. Islam, thanks for the donation, Moor. But to Moorish Americans and their sleeping giants of precious persons laboring under the pseudium, that ethnic classification of Negro, black, and colored. To all honorable citizens of the United States, indigenous nationals, and foreign sympathizers, it is of just important status to discern and examine with care the following documents: the exhuming of a nation. I'm telling you, when I break this science down, when we destroy all of it, I tell y'all, this science and these Negroes, we talk about some masonry, this our science. If a European Mason and a Negro Mason is only 32 and 33 degrees and they're sons of Muslims, damn it, who you think the daddy is? Use your brain. You will see the new nation of Moorish Americans is ordained to be a realized people. We are ordained to be a realized people. We are found tribe of Ali that was once lost in the laws and gods of Western colonization. There can be no lasting peace on earth until this rejected cornerstone, whose ancient forefathers were known as the torchbearer of civilization, once we're placed back into the light for the nations of earth. And then you got them brothers that call themselves, no disrespect, 5%ers and gods of earth. When I tell brothers like, here, once again, you Negroes gang banging. When some goofball was like, are you more of a 5%er? I said, man, I'm a Moor. 5%er is the science. You're not black, you're a Moor. If you don't know your Moorish nationality, I don't care what science you gravitate to. If you understand science, that's what I've been trying to tell my gods of earth and my so-called Hebrew Israelite brothers. I say, we understand that. But until we walk out the house synchronized, we're never going to have nothing as a people. We missing it. All the religion comes from us. If you just relax and be educated, but we don't. Therefore, it is of benevolent importance to obtain the highest degree of understanding, Moors, for the full application of the ensuing manumissions, right, of this document. That's why you got to pray for the fulfillment of the infinite and esteemed worth to be revealed as one of a saving power from the great God to heal this sickness, this Negro tumor on the body of a free national government here in North America. And I ain't talking about no new government, all that. We ain't talking about that. We part of this said government. We gonna clear all that garbage up. Y'all got to know this stuff, man. I don't want to stick all in it, man, but I want to just give some crash courses. You got to remember, for the first time since the 1865 abolishment of slavery witnessed the greatest document of manumission and the true autonomy of a new nation of people since the Declaration of Independence and National Constitution of the United States of America is the Declaration, Proclamation of Status and Jurisdiction of the Moorish Americas. I'm going to walk y'all through this. When I tell y'all, everybody else is playing fraud on y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen, man, can't nobody make you no ID card and put some numbers on it and it ain't part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's fraud and copyright infringement. Just like if somebody was taking our Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple at school and using our tax exempt number, using our affidavit, it's fraud if they ain't a part of it. It's fraud. And when the laws be enforced, you are committing fraud. I hope we listening. This is too simple. The Moorish American National Government, the Grand National Seal, the Grand National Emblem. I'm gonna walk through this. I'm gonna walk through this real simple. This is nothing hard. The Moorish American National Government, Continental American Territories, the Moorish American National Flag, from the office of the Grand Body and executive rulers of the Moorish American Government, official proclamation, Declaration Proclamation of the Moorish American Nation, our status and jurisdiction. The Moorish American Nation, 1865 AD, Divine Constitution, de jure, 1928 AD. I'm gonna walk right through it, man. I keep telling y'all, we falling for somebody that's gonna make you an ID card. Talk about some Moorish American, some Moorish Science Temple of the world. Come on, man. I mean, a fraud is a fraud. Like, come on, man. It don't. Some stuff don't even make sense. Some stuff don't even make sense. Like we don't have to do nothing fake. If you want to be part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it's only one. You should research it just like anybody else. And if it's fake, you call it out. If you want ID and stuff that bad, go through the temple. You don't need nobody making you something at home. It don't make no difference. And just like the ID card from the temple don't make a difference if they're not right and they're lying to you, because they shouldn't be trying to get you under no doctrine. If you're a misnomer, Negro, black, and colored, like our prophet said, sheiks, we should claim our people nationality if they want to be part of the temple and make sure they have their fairs. And then we teach them the science, point blank. So let's finish. Y'all know our Moorish American prayer. The Father of the Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. If anybody tell you stand to the east or turn to the east, ask them why. I'm telling you, all that's that lower slave stuff. I give you science and science from God. A lot of that stuff was for the slave to go out. If you say you a God, that was for you time to meditate. I tell Morgan, steady reading. The closest place to me, Allah, is in the heart. I'm not lost and you not lost. You got to understand that. So no man tell you to turn to a certain particular way. And the closest place to me, Allah, is in the heart. That's why I said the heart must be pure. I don't give a damn what direction you stand in. North, south, east, west, south. If your heart not pure, none of that shit mean nothing. Excuse my candor. a holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of the Father, provide for by his care, and the breast of the mother hath given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that binded you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. Are y'all listening? If thy brother is an adversary or adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race. We talk about the uniting of Asia in chapter 25 of our Moorish Quran. And his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Y'all got to follow this science, man. I'm going to jump around to it. Wisdom speaks from the highest plane of spirit life for the redemption of man from his sinful and fallen stages of humanity back to the highest plane of life. Right? So when we talk about our proclamation of status and jurisdiction of the Moorish Americans, I don't want to read it all. And then our proclamation of status, I don't want to jump through all that because it'd take too long. And then I'm showing you our Moorish American nation versus the United States of America versus the United States Congress and United States Supreme Court and an avertment of jurisdiction. I want to show Moors so we can be clear. When the Moorish Science Temple of America do mean something, the Moorish Science Temple of America can be looked up from the CCRD. I told y'all that 1010 number is not no trust. On all my Moorish ID, when you see that 1010 number, I'm gonna tell you what it's about. It ain't nothing but an affidavit. We have a tax ID number that I use, and other Moors not gonna be honest because they lying and it's fraud. So let me read it to you. The response. Now comes the petitioner. The Moorish American nations in proper persona, sejures and with constitution de jure, to move this avertment of jurisdiction to the status of Moorish Americans hereby challenge the defendant, the United States Congress, United States Supreme Court, AL, to be recognized as a pure and clean nation is now the order of the day. Judicial business, the supreme laws of the United States and all other free national governments judicially uphold there can be no legally proceeding without the right order establishment of proper status and jurisdiction. These two pillars of law must be in place and have precedence before the adjudication of all formal matters of lawful substance can be addressed. Remember, Negroes not getting ready to get no reparations. Negro, blacks, and color, all that's slave caste. Until we proclaim and declare and have due process and take it to the war courts. As Moorish Americans, y'all should know this facts. The Amstead Munity of 1841. Write that down. Write that down. This homework, I'm giving y'all homework. For no lying ass Moor can come with that garbage, talk about he's some sheik. I don't respect no old fool. I don't give a damn about nobody. No, you ain't my elder when you lying. And that easily can be destroyed with scholarship. The first thing they do is get mad. We destroy that with peer-reviewed scholarly research. Prove it. Can't prove that garbage. What they're doing is called linguistic apartheid. And in politics, it's called double talk. And these Negroes be double talking over you because they know you don't understand. And they know you're not a scholar. But see, I destroy that garbage every time they come with that. Amstead Munity of 1841. Repeat what? I don't even know what you want me to repeat. Amstead Munity of 1841. The Dred Scott decision of 1856. The uniting of this new nation is the calling of one family bearing their one free national name of Moorish American. It is not to be misconstrued as a religious organization subject to the United States that above cited Supreme Court decisions combined with resolve as Elian Gonzalez of Cuba versus the laws and citizens of the United States, where the lawful Nazis personifying the supreme issues, of status and jurisdiction. These issues are relevant to the immediate matters of nationality and manumissions of the indigenous Moorish to the continental breast of North America. I hope y'all follow me. I don't want to stay in, because I'm crash coursing you. This is the teachers you're gonna get. You gotta, all the Moors that's lying, talk about they this, it's over. You gotta stop following that garbage. It's only one real and one fake. I'm telling you. The greatest bounds of jurisdiction and power to the wisdom of the Supreme Court of the United States of America is hereby challenged to render, in written persamen, its constitutional jurisdiction to govern the lost found indigenous tribes of the Moorish American nation and esteemed 60 million descendants. The U.S. Supreme Court, in fully authority to exercise the power of the United States Constitution, joined with the entire embodiments of Congress, now have the burden of proof to any jurisdiction to justly govern the clean and pure nation of Moorish Americans present and in their proper person now before you. Now watch this. When you get these goofballs trying to have you do all type of stuff on your own. Now let me tell you. Obama told you in 2010 you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it, right, ISIS? And no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality. And the proof of a child replaces the birth certificate. So why do you need a Negro to at home that they don't figure a way to hustle you and it don't mean nothing? And the Moorish Science Temple is legit. It can be looked up. Are y'all listening to me? So what Negroes doing? They premeditating. What you mean? Premeditating how to hustle you. They thinking how to scam you, how to use words and double talk and use things that's half truth, like when I call rat poison. Rat poison is what? 95% poison, 5% food. It can't be all poison or the dumb rat won't go to it and eat it. It got to be a little bit of truth in it. It got to be a little magical in it to get you all into it. That's what this scam is. It can't be all false or you wouldn't deal with it. I'm gonna eliminate all of it and show you it's all garbage. What $45 package? You talk about the hat with the books. Oh, if you want the books, man, I got another book with it. It's a $50. It's just a Cash App $KG Bay, and I PDF you all 8 of my books. They over there. All my books. I think it's a Divine Creed, all of them. Yeah, I got them there. I'll give you a hat with it. It's no deal. The $50 donation, I'll give you a hat, and it come with my books. But I can't ship nothing out right now. Moors in Arizona, everything gets shut down. Yeah. So I'll PDF you the books. I'll PDF you all my books, man, for the $50 donation. And when everything start back, you can leave that there, Isis. Thank you. You want to bring a hat? Huh? You said what? A hat. Yeah, you can get it. That's cool. And when things start back, I'll ship you the hat. I'll send you the hat. But like I said, the interpretation of the Divine Creed, you need that. Moorish America's Light of Ali and the Moorish Adapt Study Guide. The House of Ali. The House of Ali and Mysticism, the Egyptian Adapt Prophet and Angel. You must have this. You must have this. This is for you can illuminate all that garbage. Thank you, Isis. Sufism and the Triple Roll of the Adapt Chamber, feature the Comeditan Adapt Manual and the use of our carpenter tools. You must have that. 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history, peer-reviewed scholarly research. Our vegan snack book. I got a vegan cookbook. Black scholars who debunked the Eurocentric propaganda. And I got my Healthy Eating and Living book. I also got the hats that we made. Like I said, I can't ship nothing out yet. I got the hats that we make. And we got the compression shirts to match it. So we're going to be doing the hats with the compression shirts for like $75. And you get copies of free books. But right now, more than a $50 donation, you get my books. You know, all you got to do once you send a $50 donation, email me so I can have your email so I can PDF you the books. My email is Goodman, GOODMAN, KHARY @gmail.com. And at the end of the year, you get a tax exempt receipt. I told y'all, man, we building a temple. Next year, we're going to have a big temple out here. And I told y'all, I'm not no for profit. These funds don't go in my pocket. These funds go to help build our organization, man. I create products just like other organizations. This like building funds. So when I create books and literature, it's building funds to help us build the temple, not to go in my pocket. That's what I keep telling Moors. We are a real organization. So if the more send a $50 donation, you get 8 of my books. You didn't get it, or Brother James? You didn't get my healthy, I'll PDF it to you, James, the Healthy Eating and Living book. I'll PDF it to you if you haven't got it. You always send donations. Send donations and I'll send it to you. And I told Moors, when you send donations in, especially if you send $10 or $20 donation, you gotta send me your email so I can send you my literature. And if other books you want, if Moors want the Moorish Quran, I have it PDF. So let's finish. Yeah, all you got to do is send me the email. Like I said, when you send it's Cash App, $KG Bay. Cash App, $KG Bay. Once you send the $50 donation more, send me an email to my Gmail. Say, hey, this is Noble such and such. I donated to 50. Noble, can you email me? Can you PDF me the books? I'm a PDF the bad boys to you right then. And then if you want to become, if Allah put it on your heart, if you want to be a member and a student, I'll send you our syllabus and our enrollment package to show you what books come with our studies and our fairs. And like I said, and once you start building your library, you don't have to buy nothing from Amazon. You get all your books from me because I have a library with 15,000 books and manuscripts. And when you get books from me, it's a donation and you get to claim it at the end of the year. I'm telling you, legal and lawfully. We do things the right way. This is how we build it, man. This is how we build. So the First Amendment, nor to be confused with those persons denationalized in the United States 14th Amendment under the ex post facto slave labels of Negro, Black, and colored people, when after no jurisdiction over the Moorish Americans can be claimed and proven by the challenged sovereignty, whether spiritually, ancestrally, indigenously, politically, or legally, then both the lion and the lamb are to lay together, and neither will be harmed in the new era. That's the analogy that the European Masons be having. That's when you see the hand claps. When I be telling y'all a lot of stuff is locked up in masonry, that's the lion and the lamb waking up together and no one would be harmed. Man, I'm telling you, it's a higher science. These Negroes not illuminated. I promise you, man. We got to take our place back. They are to let peace be still in the North American continent and the world, now and forever. And now the highest court of the United States being it want of said jurisdiction, of therefore without the power to issue an in personam, P-E-R-S-O-N-A-M, in personam judgment. You got to research what that means. We, the Moorish American vanguards, with our seals affixed hereupon, do hereby declare the autonomy of our sovereignty, national uprightness and independence, our first inalienable rights to be free, to be ourselves, God-like, in the likeness and image. I hope y'all following this, man. This is law. I don't want to go in it, but the Moorish American birthright of independence, the United States in her infancy, bear witness that no nation will be free to live out its creed, personify the grand principles, and attain unlimited capacity of development while under the yoke, laws, and tyranny of another government. Neither has the Moorish Americans been free to be themselves in the 140 years, this is going back to when we talk about 1865, since their emancipation from the Negro chattel slavery, while under the assumable jurisdiction of the U.S. 14th and 15th Amendments of granted privileges. Granted privileges. Man, y'all should be saying Islam, this law, all that other stuff is garbage. Separate from the rights guaranteed to all free national citizens in the body of her Constitution. The Moorish Americans, through rights of divinity, have come forth as a clean and pure people, empowered with the inalienable birthrights to be an upright, independent, and fearless nation. I'm telling you, man, and when a long train of abuses, I don't even want to stay in all that. Let me jump down a little bit. So when a misnomer African American people admits the catch and release system of racial profiling, which has been compiled 20% of U.S. travelers, but form 80% of those stopped by state action law. Yep, Cash App. Yep, Cash App. Yep. Enforcing a mandatory minimums to warehouse use and death penalties. So when naturalization, the process by which a whole person in full consciousness of nationality by birth and descent applies for citizenship, a choice among all free national constitutions, has been politically denied to the ex-slaves And there has been no record document since the enactment of the 13th Amendment to reflect the naturalization clause by treaty, application, nor judicial hearing. I'm telling you, nor petition, nor declaration of allegiance in the true intercourse of the Moorish American of lawful age, and be accepted by choice as naturalized citizens of the United States. Moors, if Italians, Greek, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, Arabs, Moroccans are forced to proclaim their free national name, religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, is it no more than the right that the law should be enforced upon all citizens alike? Why you think they don't want you to claim your nationality? They want you to be a Negro, black, and colored. Are y'all listening to me? To be a citizen of any government, you must be you must proclaim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers. When I tell you, when you being a Negro, colored, black, African, all those misnomers, all that stuff are not nationalities that bear the one free national descent name of our forefathers, Moors, but used in the semblance thereof. Negro, right? The Negro state was never designed to muster the noble status of a true citizen or qualify the bearers to reach, Moors, from the federal question of denationalization to the choice of naturalization. I hope y'all following me, Moors. When so-called Negroes whom use slave names, not knowingly these labels are unacceptable. You got to know this. I don't want to stay in this because I told my empress I'm not going to be long. But the preamble of the divine constitution of the Moorish Americans, y'all got to know this, man. You got to know this. That's why you must be under the right auspices. I told y'all, it's stuff we must have. It's stuff that we must have, that we must know, that our babies must know. We must know how to govern ourselves accordingly. And a lot of Moors don't. I promise you. We must know our preamble of the divine constitution of the Moorish Americans. The Moorish American as a clean and pure nation is the personification of the divine constitution. Their constitution, unlike charters of men, is a divine covenant from their holy prophet Noble Drew Ali through the guidance of his father God Allah. It is the prophesied document which has been long awaited in the coming forth by day of a new nation, a people having been divinely brought with certainty into I am gnosis of reattaching themselves to human body families of nations. I don't even want to stay in that, but y'all following me. The divine constitution of Moorish American, the Grand Sheikh and the chairman of Moorish America, is the power to make law and enforce laws. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those are bylaws. I want to go through it. So in the name of our great God, Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, when Moors just be making up garbage and it don't mean nothing. And I say, we don't have to make up nothing. If our prophet built a house and put the furniture in it, all we got to do is fall in down line and follow under the right Moor that's under the temple, that's a real sheikh and an educator. That's all we got to do. And let everybody else go. This ain't no secret. The true divine and national movement of North America, from the tribe, families, and lineages. When I tell y'all, this is the uniting of Asia. We don't diss nothing. From the tribes, families, and lineages of one free Moorish American nation. Of what? One free Moorish American nation. Come forth a century of Bays, Els, Alis, Duns, Days, Zulu, Washitals, Nuwabians, ETAL. We stand as the vanguards, executive rulers, and officials, representatives, deriving our just powers. Yep. In due time, from the great God of our ancient forefathers, the inherited and divine autonomies, to link ourselves with the families of nations. So how are you not going to link yourself with the families of nations and you think everything fake? You got to be crazy. Hereunto stand declared, and hereby affix our seal, proclaiming ourselves as one nation, bearing one free national name, signers and farmers of the proclamation of status and jurisdiction of the Moorish Americas in proper persons, sejurers. So when you be getting these Moors lying, this is stuff that went to the government. What we must do, enforce the laws. Stop listening to these Moors with all this fake garbage, because they done figured out a way to scheme you out your money, and they done figured out a way to scheme our empresses out their money, and they done making some fake ID card like that crap means something. You can't look yourself over on the Moors' vital statistics.
Once we do things the right way, the temple is right, you can be looking up to the Moorish vital statistics, and then we take it to the world courts, and then we rocking and rolling, baby. And then we rocking and rolling. And every Moor know I'm telling the truth. If any other Moor don't know what I'm saying, you need to get away from that garbage. So what I showed y'all above, embryo are the vanguards and forerunners representing a living family of 6 million witnesses and members bearing one free national name and appearing in proper persona, sejurers proclaiming their one free national status of Moorish American nationality before their government. So you got all these religious Negroes, like, no disrespect, Hebrew Israelites and the gods of earth. And I'll be like, what are you? What's your nationality? I'm like, your religion is not your nationality. I don't care what your religion is, man. You must understand your Moorish nationality. You got to understand this. We stand to be recognized by the nations of earth. Each representative have proclaimed their proper person via Moorish tribal name, year of freeborn birth, and original state territory of birth, originally certified under the de facto jurisdiction of the United States. So what are they talking about? All my paperwork that I showed y'all through the temple, my adoption papers, all that, and when you get some goofball more talk about it don't matter, and when I say when you talk about you done claimed your nationality with some fraudulent Moor with a fez on, I say let me see what you did. Nothing. You wasted your money and your time. And what he did, he premeditated. So let me read something. You got to be advised that the declaration and proclamation of the Moorish American status and jurisdiction has been mailed as a notice to the President of the United States via his father, the 41st President, through the following diplomatic missive. This missive was received by his office on April 24th, 2006. Let me read something to you. However, there has not been a written response of this date, June 7, 2006. This was back then, and is now being submitted into the worldwide public domain. If y'all want it, I'm telling you, I get the literature to you. As declared, this holy doctrine will now follow up the legal spine of the status quo into the finale of the Moorish American national recognition and acceptance. In the words of our prophet Noble Drew Ali, the only way out of the fire is through the fire. When these Negroes don't understand the only way, the laws, if the laws made you a slave, the laws are going to free you. What y'all think is on the Constitution? What y'all think is on the bottom of the Liberty Bell? The letter to Bush administration has not been altered, except when we put it in the PDF form. The Moorish American National Government, from the desk of Grand National Chairman Sheikh Alou Pleasant Bey. Who we talking about? Y'all know who we talking about. Sheikh Alou and Pleasant Bey. And more, and see, when I get with this adapt wisdom, Moors, they tuck their tail in their ass because they be lying. So let's deal with it. The great God is our guide, protection, and salvation through his holy prophet Noble Drew Ali. I just want to read the letter. April 19, 2006, Honorable George Herbert Walker Bush, Office of George Bush, ETAL, 10000 Memorial Drive, Suite 900, Houston, Texas. Enclosed is the Moorish American Declaration and Proclamation. Dear Mr. 41st President, we pray you and your family and all true American citizens are well. This is a covered missive of illustrious and diplomatic stature. Verily, it's a forerunner notifying an installation of the enclosed Declaration and Proclamation of the Moorish American nation. The intent and nature of this document are of the highest honor and principles. They derive from the pure heart and minds of the Moorish American people, having formed themselves into a clean and pure nation. When I tell Moors, how the hell are we going to be something everybody prints some stupid ass card? That don't even make sense. Just like if you part of a university, I don't care if you go online, your ID going to be the same. In due time, our heart is being extended to the heart of the United States of America through its presiding administration. True diplomacy is always the first course of communication amongst men of free national standards and principles. EGRO, this directive is being sent through Honorable George Herbert Walker Bush, 41st President, as a follow-up from the hand-delivered version on or about January 23rd, 2006 by Mr. Allen and Florida Poe, District Director of the Women's Republican Party. Y'all hear that? And to date, there has not been a responding activity acknowledged the recipient of that particular outreach. Due to the nobility and magnitude of this long-awaited solution, it would only be befitting to make every a virtuous effort possible to allow the lion and the lamb to rest together and neither be harmed when morning comes. I can get deep in the letter, but I don't want to read all of it because it's a lot. Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm gonna give you the proof of the postal and delivery to the president. Let me read the end of it. Mr. President, we humbly ask you to send us an immediate acknowledgement of your reception of these documents. This is necessary to avoid redirecting the course of the inevitable events. If it is your will and pleasure, you may issue instructions and arrangements via phone, email, write, or otherwise. Contact I direct at the contact below my signature. We look forward to the great day when former slaves and former slave masters can link themselves with the families of nations, and none will be in want of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Upon your request, I will forward you the list of cabinet officials which will be present. For your distribution, we prepare and enclose 5 original copies of the Moorish American Declaration, Proclamation of Status and Jurisdiction. Each copy of the aforesaid document and this missive will bear the embossed National Moorish American Seal to assure the authenticity. Through our high principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, honorably, Ilu and Pleasant Bay, Sheikh Ilu and Pleasant Bay, Divine Minister, Grand National Chairman of Moorish Americans. And you got them goofballs talking about we're not ministers, and I be telling Moorish, if you're an adept, you wear many hats. You should be a divine minister. Come on, we know the Moorish Quran back of our hand. Now, the postal office and delivery receipt to the President Bush. They go to proof where they're delivered to. So all we got to do is enforce the laws today. We enforce the laws. I'm telling you, man. Any other thing, some more telling you, they lying to you. And then I'm going to give y'all another precedented case number. I hope y'all got your pens. When I say we can destroy these Moors, when they want to just give themselves as titles, talk about they some scholar, and I say a scholar or what? A scholar or what? Not no make-believe. See, a person can double talk to you, and when they deal with real scholarship, they tuck their tail in their asses. Now, I told y'all, a European to tell you this feds come from the Africans or Egyptians, whatever. This ain't no Turkish feds. They borrowed it. Just like the European nation that tell you where this feds come from. I'm telling you. So I'm going to give y'all some history to research. From the Federal Depository of New York State in the Handbook of North American Indians, page 290. U.S. Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C., 20402, stock number 047-000-00351-2, copyright 1979 by the Smithsonian Library of Congress, cataloging and public data. And I quote, that among the reputed ancestors of the Aboriginal American Indians population, natives are the Moors and the Turks. You research it. You research that. And when you let them Negroes come with that old lighter, down the line stuff, and I'll show you who what the original Turks and the Moors is. And it's no question. We deal with scholarship. We ain't got time to be playing with nobody that's just doing things, trying to pick up the breadcrumbs of knowledge and try to act like this science didn't originate from us. We've been miseducated so much, we let somebody come on there and connotate our science. But I bet you they won't come with that garbage with me. I bet you they won't come with that connotated garbage with me. That's garbage. And they only play that crap to somebody that don't know. And I call that premeditated. So we got a little bit more time, and I'm going to give us a little history and we done. I'm going to give a little informational facts. I'm going to give some educational excerpts and some science from our Moorish Science Temple of America to benefit our children, according with the U.S. federal copyright law, the fair use doctrine. The fair use doctrine. I told y'all, I'm going to give y'all all law. This Moorish science, everybody are not able to teach Moorish science. If you don't, let me tell you something. You can study everything, and that's fine. But when you say this Moorish Science Temple of America, and you part of the temple, and then you don't have your dispensation and your adapt papers that say you can teach Moorish Islam, and come on, so they say what are you? You self-taught. So don't go up there and talk about you through the Moorish Science Temple, you some adept. And you don't have the proper training to know what we're supposed to teach. Come on, man. But the doctrine title 17, U.S. section 107 through 18, and is provided for our educational purpose, right? And what I'm doing is to support certain facts not ordinarily taught within the curriculum of American federally financed public school systems, and even a lot of more that don't teach their children. I'm gonna give you a far deep analysis. So it's critical that we recognize and understand, Moors, how extremely important it is for us to play an active part in the education of our children and the re-educating, like Carter G. Woodson said, of the so-called Negro here in the Americas, or the so-branded colored or black or misnomer Latino or Mexican, misidentified American or African American. We got to teach the right way, man. It can be many schools, but we must fall under the right auspices. One body and many parts. And if we simply, Moors, continue as we've been doing, just playing, lying to Moors, acting like this Moorish science is some dumb religion and not teaching our babies, always allowing someone else of another culture to identify who you are as a people. When you get these babes, they get on here and they let some pale Turkish person tell you that the feds is theirs. Blasphemy. Without doubt, it would change for the better. And it's always good to keep in mind the following, Moors. If all or most of what you think you know or have been taught to believe has been taught to you by one who has throughout history, Moors, always proven themselves consistently never to have your best interests at heart, then if you have any logic in your brain, it would in turn, with all Moors reason, dictate the most of what you have been taught and are programmed to believe you think you know as being fact, Moors, is in fact not for your own good. What you believe or your belie can be based on what? Pseudo-academia, BS. Not even who you think you are. So when most people think of Caribbean immediately, watch this. This is how the Negro been miseducated. And when I say most of my lectures was done on college campuses in scholarship. So when a lot of Negroes, when they just been educated pseudo-academically, when they hear Caribbean, immediately the names of islands pop in their brain, like Bahamas, Turks, Caicos, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, right? Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, right? St. Martin, Saba, all those areas, right? Right? Dominican, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, all those areas. But however, Moors, the region is said to include over 7,000 islands or islets, reefs and cays. What most people, Moors, have not heard of is who are the people that many know as West Indians, Amerindians, American Indians of the Caribbeans, the Arawaks, the Maroons, the Arawak tribe are recorded as being the inhabitants of the Caribbean islands when you research the Arawak people. The Arawak tribes consist of Tainos, Nepoyos, Nepoyas, Sepoyas, Suppoyas, Lokonos, Lokonos, Igeneri, Igneri, Lucians, LucaYans, Rumcays, Rucays, Caribs, Cribs, Cibones, Ciboney, and many others. All of the tribes are members of the Arawak tribe, which were part of the Moorish Maximum Empire. Do y'all hear me? Especially when I talk about the Moorish Israelite. The Moorish Maximum Empire stretched from the western part of the earth to the eastern part of the earth, marked by the 36 and 30 parallel. When you research the 30 and the 36 parallel, Moors, y'all must know this science. The Arawak people originate from South America near the Orinoco, Orinco, or the Orinoco River near Brazil, Colombia, and Venezuela. And from the region, they have always been there. When you research the Orinoco River, research it. The name Caribbean Islands or Caribbean Sea is said to be named after the Caribs, the Caribs, who were said, based on oral stories, Moors, to be the first ones to migrate from the Americas. So the incomplete story about slavery, Moors, is that the Americas and the Caribbean islands were populated with dark you. When I say what's human and mankind, you ain't gotta, it's difference. You, mankind. You ain't gotta listen to me. Dark pigmented people that came from Africa. However, that is far from the truth. And the ancient people who have been labeled and classified, identified, or described as black, Negro, colored, Ethiopian, West Indian, Native American, Native Indian, American Indian, Indian, Black Indian, Latino, Mexican, Afro-American, Afro, because remember they called you an Afro-American first. Afro. Research that history. You were Afro-American. And then an African, then the African-American, first people, first nation, original people, Asiatics, Aboriginal, Indigenous, Paleo, Pre-Adamitic. Those are not specifics. And when Moors be putting that garbage on your card, y'all know that's garbage. I'm going to give y'all some facts. An autotoxin. Thanks for the donation. Yep, and I'll PDF you the book as soon as we done. Email me too so I can have it, your email. And I'll send you a copy of our syllabus and our PDF. Our syllabus and our enrollment package. And autotoxin were known to be the Americans, Hawaii, Alaska, Canada, United States, Central America, South America, Caribbean islands, Greenland, before there was even an Atlantic Ocean. Y'all know that, right? I'm telling y'all, man. Watch this. And our Moorish, y'all got to understand, y'all, our prophet Noble Drew Ali, in chapter 47, what do it talks about? The inhabitants of Africa are what? The descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the what? Demarcation line of the dominion of Maxima, because what they were Abyssinians. The first true divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between father and son. Y'all should know that. So you can see, Moors, that the history that our prophet Noble Drew Ali and that what I'm delivering back to us, what we breaking down, what we were showing, that there were people here in the Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere before there was an Atlantic Ocean or an Ethiopic Ocean that separated the Western Hemisphere from the Eastern Hemisphere, Moors. Also, Moors, for clarity, the Western Hemisphere of the earth is the Northwest and the Southwest. Our prophet speaking of the Eastern Hemisphere of the earth, he's speaking of, and the Northeast and Southeast, Moors. And when the land masses were together, it was known as Africa. And the divine name is a Maxima. And some may know it as the what? Supercontinent names. When you research supercontinents. Others was Asia. When I show you in the Bible how Paul went on the road to Damascus when they was going to Asia, and you think we're Asia, and I'm telling you it's Africa, and they was trying to, and they was going to colonize. And when you research the god Artemis, one of our manifestations, when you see in the museums, no disrespect, pseudo academia, they changed it from dark and tried to make it white. Look at it. So what many don't know is that the Western Hemisphere, Moors, of the planet is also Africa, but ancient Africa. And the Western Hemisphere is known as the place where Egypt started, but ancient Egypt, as shown in the book. That's like when y'all research when the rocks cry out. That's like when Moors be posting books, and I'm like, I know you ain't read it, because if you read it, you would be connecting the dots. Like, yeah, because that's in the books. When the rocks cry, you'll start connecting the science. But I know Moors don't read. That science is by Horace Butler, and known as Egypt of the West, and stated by President Abraham Lincoln too. So the Americas are indeed ancient Africa and ancient Egypt, and yet a lot don't know this. And for those who grew up being taught the Bible, chapter 10 of Genesis is known as what? What is chapter 10 of Genesis known as? All my adapts. They supposed to know this. That's why you don't diss nothing. What is chapter 10 of the Bible known as, Moors? Do y'all know? Watch this. It's real simple. Do anybody know? Yes or no? For those who grew up being taught the Bible, chapter 10 of Genesis is known as what? Do anybody know? Yes or no, if I can continue, because I don't want to be too long. I told my empress I'm going to speed through. I'm already an hour in. Do y'all know what it is? Yes or no? In chapter 10 of the Bible of Genesis, it's known as what? What is that chapter known as? The what? Do y'all know? Yes or no? Anybody know? Come on, Morris. Yes or no? Don't try to Google it. We should know this. Do we know what it is? Yes or no? Well, chapter 10 of Genesis is known as the Table of Nations. It's the Table of Nations. If we follow in our teachings, it shows the blood lineage of the human family after the flood. Genesis chapter 10, verse 25. It gives a hint. Watch, I told you I'm always going to drop nuggets. It gives a hint at the great earthquake. Our prophet Noble Ali was talking about when it says, listen, and unto Eber, E-B-E-R, were born two sons. This will Morris be missing. The name of one was Peleg, P-E-L-E-G. For in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's names was Joktan, J-O-K-T-A-N. And the Europeans that came to the New World, which is really the old world, called the dark indigenous people Indians. And the word Indian has many layers, Moors. It means a darkish, bluish, and purplish shade. So in one degree, when you see the words American Indian, Native Indian, or Western Indian, it means American dark person. I promise you this. Native dark person or Western dark person. However, in the view of the Vatican and aspects of the international law, the word Indian comes from the words Los Indios, which means those without God. I hope you all follow me. Los Indos became Sindos, then Indos, which became Indian. I hope you all following me. In 1452, Moors, a decree issued by Pope Nicholas V, and also in 1493, an inter caetera papal bull issued by Pope Alexander claimed that all those who were not Christians, Jewish, really Hebrew, or Muslims were considered heathens. Research that doctrine of discovery, Moors. Barbarians, pagans, and must be subdued or cleansed. Right? This was the spiritual blessing the Christian inquistadors and the Christian invaders got from the church, which made it okay for them to rape, kill, behead, slaughter, murder, spread disease amongst the men, women, children of the Moors, of the Caribbean and Americans, and enslave them for labor and indentured servitude. Man, research Oliver Cromwell. And I'm telling y'all, I don't be meaning, don't disrespect, I'm a scholar. When Europeans, especially, they be all Oliver Cromwell, I said, man, this man was a murderer. Please. Many of the people who are Caribbean have no idea that there is a difference between Christianity of today and the teachings of the Canaanite Moabite Muslims, known by the title Jesus the Christ, that was born in South America, Moors, not the Middle East. And many of the Caribbean people are Christians because their slave masters were Christians. And the slaves not only got the names of the slave master attached to them, but also the slave master's religion as well. Both branded the slave. And in the Moorish Holy Quran, Moors, our prophet Noble Ali states in chapter 48, we as a clean and pure nation, descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve their gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and the salvation of mankind. There's nothing wrong with that. I love everybody. But I'm telling y'all, our science trumps everything. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islamism, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation, Moors, the covenant of the great God Allah, Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth land, which thy Lord, thy God, Allah, has given us. Don't y'all know this? Don't y'all know when Christopher Colombo and other European invaders came to the Americas, they needed translators? Don't y'all know this? See, those translators, they had to speak Arabic or Aramaic or Chaldean or Hebrew or Latin. You know why? Because Spanish, in order to interact with the people of the Caribbean islands and Americas, y'all got to know this, Moors. Arabic was the language of the learned ones, the elites and the nobles in the Caribbean. Among the indigenous people of the Caribbean and the Americans, they were called the higher force, what they call today God, by saying Great Spirit. Research it. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali shows us in our Moorish 101 this same connection with question 94. In question 94 of your 101s, Moors, to whom do we refer to at times as being the great God? Allah. A sum of 565 names, Moors, 484 in America, 81 in Canada, of villages, towns, cities, mountains, lakes, rivers. The etymologically Arabic designation by locals long before the arrival of Columbus. Many of these names are in fact the names of Islamic places: Mecca in India, Medina in Idaho, Medina in New York, Medina in Hazen in North Dakota, Medina in Ohio, Medina in Texas, Medina in Tennessee, Medina in Arva in Ontario, Mohammed in Illinois, and Mona in Utah are just a few noticeable names, Moors. When you give a closer analysis of the names of native tribes, it will immediately reveal their Arabic etymological ancestry: Ansazia, Apache, Arawak, Arcana, Chauvin, Cherokee, Cree, Hokkien, Hoopa, Hopi, Mecca, Mohawk. Man, I can go on and on. From Caliph Horani, which is California, to Ala Bunya, which is Alabama. Ala Bunya. Does that sound like Alabama? Allah, B-U-N-Y-A. Ala Bunya, Alabama. To Tallahassee, which is Tallahassee. To Medina, Ohio. To Moorestown, New Jersey. To Islamorda, Florida. To Alhambra, California. Muslims have left an impact on the country. I'm telling y'all, man. Also, Columbus admitted that on October 21st, 1492, you remember that song Stevie Wonder sung? In 1492, they came up on the shores, educated by the Moors. Y'all remember that? Well, as he was sailing past Gibara on the coast of Cuba, Moors, he saw a mosque and a remnant of the masjid have been founded in Cuba, Mexico, Texas, Nevada. Also, another historian, you can look up P.V. Ramos, also showed in his essay, An African Presence in Early America, that the dietary regulations of the Caribbean were similar to the Islamic teachings. This way before Columbus. The men of Cortez and Pizarro, some of whom had taken direct part in the struggles against Muslims in Africa or Spain, called the Indian temples mezquitas, M-E-Z-Q-U-I-T-A-S, Spanish for masjids, mosques. Research the story of Rodrigo de Tirana. Research the story of Rodrigo, D-E-T-R-I-A-N-A. Mezquitos is Spanish for masjid or mosque. In Haitian voodoo, or voodoo, or voodoo, or voodoo, one of the most important ion or iwas or spirits is one called the Dambala, or the Dambala, which is the sky god. In Dambala, we see the word Allah. Research in Dambala. I'm telling you, man. It's another author, Eric Williams, in the Science History of the People of Trinidad and Tobago. It stated that Christopher Columbus described the Caribbean people saying their heads were bound with cotton scars. Their heads was bound in cotton scars. And then I'm going to show you in the Bible where the followers of Yahshua, what they were, their bonnets and their turbans with the jewel on them. Elaborately worked in colors and resembling the Moorish headdress. Some of these scarves were worn round the body and used as a covering instead of trousers. Historian and researcher Dr. Sultana Afroz wrote, "From Moors to Maronage, the Islamic heritage of the Maroons in Jamaica." It's a journal research written by Dr. Sultan Afroz. In her journal paper, she showed the connection between the Moors and the Maroons when she wrote, and I quote, excuse me, Jamaica, we talk about the Jamaican Maroons and Empress Nanny. Jamaica was one of the final destinations for many of these Moorish captives who were referred to as Negro slaves from Spain. Given the background of the Moors, who were not only once conquerors, establishing empires over 3 continents, but were also culturally enlightened people, resistance to subordination or subjugation in various forms by them became a common feature in the New World. The name of Don Cristobal Arnold de Yasasi, a Jamaican-born Spaniard who was appointed the governor of Jamaica by the Spanish king in 1655, is indicative of his Moorish origin. Some local historians see her work as controversial because she claims that some of the Maroon and enslaved Africans who came to Jamaica were Muslims. Afroz started developing the theory while on an archaeological dig in Moortown. While there, she kept with some Maroon elders, and being a Muslim herself, quickly recognized some Islamic terms in their speech. When she met the colonies and Maroon council members, she was greeted with the official Muslim greeting. Research that in the Jamaican Gleaner article. I'm telling y'all, Moors. So, Sultana Afro seeks to clarify the Islamic heritage of the Maroons and the position of the Islamics in the freeing of the enslaved Africans in Jamaica. I can go on and on. Maroons were any indigenous person who rebelled against Christian colonization and slavery. The Maroons, or the Caribbean Moors, who rebelled against slavery, were noted to be in the Caribbean islands. And then they tried to ship them to Nova Scotia, North, Central, and South America, and West Africa. Obviously, Moors, no ships transported all these people and put them in all those locations simultaneously. It can clearly be seen that there were dark melanated indigenous people all around in those regions before slavery. We talk about the Maroon people. Another name for the Maroon is American. Don't that sound familiar? American. Marokan. So watch this. I'm going to give y'all Old English. Well, in Old English, the letter K and C in grammar are interchangeable. So American, Marokan, becomes American, Marocan, which becomes Moroccan. And the ancient Moroccans of North, Central, and South America, the Caribbean islands, and West African people, Moors. So Maroon equal Moroccan equal Moroccan, Moors or Moorish people. Maroon people culture. I'm telling y'all, man, I'm almost done. Question 13 and 14 in our Moorish 101 questionnaire asks us, what is our nationality? A Moorish American. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born where? Here in America. Our prophet, Ali, was indeed correct when he said that we are Moorish Americans. We are descendants of those ancient Moroccans that inhabited the Caribbean islands of the Americans. Are y'all following me? So when Moors print y'all these stupid fake IDs, talk about you got some 1790 Sundry Moore Act, you ain't no damn Moroccan citizen. That's fraud. You're not no Moroccan citizen. So why would you want somebody to print you some ID card and it got some 1790 Sundry Moore Act on it? You ain't no damn Moroccan citizen. You see how simple this stuff is? Tainos, Tainos, who are a subgroup of the Arawak people who inhabited the Caribbean islands thousands of years before slavery and colonization, had chiefs called caciques, or pronounced Coxie or Cacique, Cacique, Cacique. A few other documented Taino chiefs had the word Bay in their name, such as Abay, Harbay, and Mabay. When you research some of the Taino chiefs, and the Tainos had a name for all the elements, birds, and everything found in nature. even a name for the earth, sometime known as Mother Earth. The Tainos called Mother Earth, and the goddess of fresh waters and fertility, Atabe, Ataby. Research this science, Moors. If you look at Cuba, the indigenous people of Cuba are called what? I might be pronouncing it wrong. Ghana Jatabe. Jataby. Guanjana Bay. Guantana Bay. Besides Ali, El Day, the title Bey is a Moorish title of nobility, rulership, and governments. Before the Caribbean, Moorish people were enslaved and colonized, and before melanated indigenous people became blacks, Negro, colored Afro-Americans, and West Indian, the Beys or Moors were well known in the Caribbean islands, Moors, and the indigenous Moors of the Caribbeans who came from North, Central, and South America to inhabit the islands were there from thousands of years before they mixed with their West African family that came from Africa on boats on their own, before they mixed with other descent families from the Christian family and indigenous servants from Asia, Europe, and India. And many people do not know the transatlantic slave trade started in reverse, with the capturing of the dark indigenous Moors in the Americas being shipped to Europe and shown in the book African and Natives, the Language and Race of the Evolution of the Red Black People by Jap D. Forbes. I'm telling y'all can get all these books from me. Some of the first prisoners of war or melanated slaves to be brought from the East to the Americas were known as Black Ladinos or Moors from the Iberian Peninsula, Castile, Spain, and Portugal. There were countless European pale or white slaves also that were imported to the Caribbean Americas. Some were known as red legs. Research it. They called them red legs. I'm almost done. The New Oxford American Dictionary in the second edition, and most editions afterwards, Moors, they have a section called Countries of the World. And in it, it shows that Cuba is assigned to North America. Dominica is assigned to North America. Dominican Republic is assigned to North America. Haiti is assigned to North America. Jamaica is assigned to North America. Trinidad is assigned to South America. And overall, the Caribbean islands and those from there are indeed true indigenous Moorish Americans, Moors. However, Moors, many of the Caribbean islands are under false independence and sovereignty because many of them are externally free, but behind the scene, they are still under the British Empire that governs and rulership. And the British Empire today is known as the Commonwealth of Nations, where Queen Elizabeth II has islands and continents as real estate, and those under the Commonwealth of Nations jurisdictions are her subjects. As of February 6, 1952, research the Commonwealth of Nations. See, this is scholarship. You should want to be part of these teachings. And I ain't even got into no higher science. This is all elementary. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to redeem us and all true Americans, especially the North American, which includes the Caribbean islands. And those in the North America must proclaim their true nationality as Moorish Americans. Correct our status, race, religion, birth certificate for the record. If not, the modern slave label and descriptions such as Black, Negro, Color, Ethiopian, West Indian, Native American, Native Indian, Latino, Mexican, Hispanic, Amerindian, Black, Indian, Latino, Mexican, Afro-American, First People, Original People, Asiatic, Aboriginal, Indigenous, Paleo, Pre-Amatic, Autochthon is only showing that we are not free and do not know who we are. We got to be specific. The ignorance we have under the ignorance will have us under the stronghold of foreign political jurisdiction or a modern slave master, Moors, and their representatives and agents. We will then be abused and misused when you research what a second-class citizen is. That's why our teachings, it's time that come that every nation worship under their own vine and fig tree. Every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery. due to the fact they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers, Moors. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from us in 1774, and the word Negro, black and colored, was given to Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored, and we honor not the principles of our mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom we knew nothing. That's in our Moorish Quran, chapter 47, 15, 17. This is why the United States were able to easily, man, more we talk about treaties. That's why they was easy. This is why they was easy to break treaties with those tribes, because they accepted the brand of Indian, which put them under federal jurisdiction and dictate. What makes up a true nationality is not the skin color, facial features, or blood type, Moors. What makes up true nationality according to law is Jus soli. Jus soli, J-U-S-S-O-L-I, and Jus sanguinis, J-U-S-S-A-N-G-U-I-N-I-S. I hope y'all know this. This is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali had to start the Moorish movement in 1913 to bring us our ancient nationality, our creed and birthright. This is why Grand Sheikh Richard Dingale had to form the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics to register Moorish Americans. That's it, Moors. I'm done. An hour and 25. So, Moors, please, if you send $50 donation for the books, please, my Gmail, Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com, for I can PDF you your book. And the $50 donation go to Cash App, $KGB. Once the mail and stuff get back to running, we're going to start our lessons again. All the new students, all your feds are here. The Moors that paid their one-time $250 fee, your feds and all your 7 books are here. As soon as I can mail stuff out, you will get them. All the Moors that ordered a hat, your hats will be coming too. But we can't ship nothing out right now. We got all colorways too that match your compression style shirt. Any other questions, Moors? I think tomorrow I might, for Sunday school, I'm gonna break down the holy nation state. I'm gonna break down the whole manual so we can be clear. So the Moors don't get nothing twisted. I told y'all I'm not here to, nothing secret with me. It's sacred. Don't let no Moors get y'all caught up. Don't let no Moors get y'all caught up in some 10-10-9-9 number. Talk about that some damn trust. That ain't nothing but no debt. That ain't nothing but a affidavit. The CCRD, you can look it up. We got to do things the right way, Moors. And once we have the right students, we will have a temple out here. We will be on our web page. Nothing will be on YouTube no more. It'll be a little snippet directing you to our YouTube page. All our items that we have for our member and students, all the books will be on there. All the items, the shirts that we make our own t-shirts. We make our own jewelry. So none of our finances will have to go outside. Everything can stay in our community. We make our own jackets and everything. So our funds will stay in the real Moorish community. When I tell Moors, I don't care about everybody else. I care about us that fall in our auspices. And in one calendar year, Moors, I promise y'all, everything can be popping. Everything that you get from me is tax exempt. You want to be under these right auspices, Moors, so our money can work for us. I promise you. And then as we grow and build, then I'll show y'all how we can extract things. We can get grants and things and stuff we don't have to pay back, stuff that we already paid for. And we can build in our community. And then I can show y'all how we build the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Science Temple, and School in your area. I'll show y'all how we build our community, how we get that stuff donated to us under our organization or for pennies of the dollar. I'm telling you, man. And we take over our community. Any questions? I'm telling you, man, we don't have to complain about no churches or nobody. Moors must understand the laws and the tax codes. The religious laws protect us. Well, how you think all these churches, these mega churches is doing? It's tax exempt funds. We got the same rights. Our nationality and spirituality. We got the right to teach our Moorish science. Moorish science is not illegal. What these Negroes doing is illegal. This sovereign citizen stuff, all that garbage, we're home. We don't teach that garbage. We can have our grand everything. That's why the Moors don't have nothing. When you be Moors following people talk about they some Moors of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And then I say, okay, well, where the temple? They be having teaching in hotels and bookstores because they using all that money to go in their pocket. And that's how they living off of it. It ain't to build no temple. It ain't to teach nobody. It's for them to teach lectures like they some damn entertainers. Like this motivational speaking. And that ain't what this is about. This is about educating, building our nationality and our spirituality. Letting our babies and our emperors know that they're not Negro, black, and colored. Teaching our nationality and spirituality. Teaching the laws, the international law, to let people know that we are a people. And we can take this to the world courts and be classified as who we are, legally and lawfully. Everything else is a waste. I don't care about nobody that's saying something. If they're a sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America and you preaching every Sunday and you not, and this is my thing. Forget all that. Any sheik, the part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, why are you not getting every Negro, black, and colored? Because it's more say they sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's one in Atlanta. I say, okay, if you're a sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, why everybody in Atlanta that's a Negro, black, and colored? Why you not nationalizing to the temple to take it to the world courts? Because I know damn well it's more than 30,000 Moors nationwide. Are y'all listening to me? See, do you see the game and the scariness of these scary Moors? They talk about they sheiks, and our brothers did this back then, and then you got these Moors that just want to preach on TV, call themselves sheik, or this a sheik in Atlanta, he got the temple, and I say, okay, you a sheik, okay, why you not correcting, why you not doing the prophet's work? Why you not teaching the science? Why you not teaching in the temple? Why it's not live? What's the secret? These Negroes be acting like some damn Masons. Share the teachings. Share the teachings with the people. We got to come out this damn, we ain't under no rock anymore, man. The internet is out now. The internet is a network. And you got these more talk about they sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And then I say, okay, well, what you hiding? And then it's like, okay, so what's the job? So our job is not to classify ourselves as Moors. That's the ultimate job. Because we can proclaim, declare, and have due process all day. But the ultimate goal is taking this, is doing what the brothers did then. They even wrote the letter. We ain't even did that to this day. And then these Negroes get happy. Let me tell y'all what these Negroes do. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. They love having Moorish American Day in their own city and state. Man, that's old. Every local jurisdiction know who you are. You see? And then they say, well, that's one step. Okay, man, well, now what? The next step is to become, aren't we Moors? Aren't we international Moors? Oh, you want to be known as a Moor in Washington or Philadelphia, but you don't want to be known as a Moor all around the world? See, this is blasphemy, and it's garbage. This went to the world courts. See, I know when Moors be playing. Yeah, I know certain areas you got Moorish American Day. That's great. But what about international? When we take this to the world courts? Huh, Moors? When you got, ask them sheiks that about the Moorish Science Temple of America. Ask them the duality of the AA22 number, which they always like to talk about. Ask them that. Where we must proclaim, declare, and have due process. Where it's supposed to be 30,000 Negro, blacks, and colored, misnomer, Latino, and Mexicans sign a petition to proclaim, declare, and have due process, and we take that to the world courts. Why ain't nobody saying that? That's law. These Negroes talk about reparations. All these entertainers, you got these Moors talking about reparations and the census. I even hear sheiks talk about fill out black and white. That ain't your status. Your status is Moorish American. Your race is Asiatic. Your status is free white. You fill it in on there. And you annex your all rights reserve. These Moors scary, man. And that's why. And then they want to give these catchphrases. Our prophet told us not to be passive. Our prophet ain't tell you to run to these damn local courts and play games and begging somebody to ask you who you are. Our prophet told you annex your B and your L to all your ID and things, because you're going to need all that to bring up charges. You don't throw away the evidence. That's why I said these Moors is lying to y'all. I'm going to leave y'all with this right here, and I'm done. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Let me give y'all something. I told y'all that 1010 number is fraud. It ain't nothing but a religious affidavit. Let me give y'all this right here. Dirty Moors. I don't like to call them dirty Moors because they ain't right. You can clean a dirty Moor up. These Negroes don't want to be cleaned up. They know they fraudulent you, and they know they premeditating y'all. But dirty Moors have been busy burying us as a people, just as our prophet Noble Ali warned. They will take this movement down so low, it will disappear from the face of the earth. You Moors won't know I have been here. For 15 years, this is the author. He said he was a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And he said during the moderating of Robert Love L., when I showed y'all that was garbage, that 1010 number they're trying to say, he went on record in the Fourth Circuit Court of Corporate Government of the United States stating, This author and many others of his members were not Moorish Americans and never a part of the MST of A. This deposition would normally seem harmless, except it is a lie, laced with the assumable identification, which combine membership with nationality. You can't combine membership with nationality. Listen. Following the three-leader successorship of past moderates, being with the first post-Ali Freemason named Charles Kirkman Bey, Love L. to claim to have the power to make Moorish Americans out of members, divine ministers out of sheiks, and adepts out of officials. Listen, to make a man, listen to this, is the census mandatory? You should think about it. Think about it. It's remember what I told y'all, it's different forms of proclaiming and declaring. I tell more how to navigate. I never tell no more what to do. I tell them more how to navigate. You got some Moors. If you're going to do something, you better put who it is. Watch this. If you fill out a job application, you filling out a census, you're not even thinking. You get a job application. I ask all Moors on this. Moorish American ain't on there. What y'all put on there? An African, Negro, garbage. You haven't flexed your rights. I never do that. What I do, a box, I put Moorish American. And I sign my name in lower caps. That's your right. So if you want to proclaim and declare and have due process, that's your right. I'll never tell a person what to do. If you want to navigate that way, if somebody asks you who you are on paper, I'm a Moorish American. Are you willing to put that on paper? Absolutely. Absolutely, with no problem. That ain't nothing to me. But to make a man as one can make a mason is the practice of Freemasonry at its most unscrupulous heights. To nationalize, which is to make or denationalize any human, is both a sin and a crime. No God, prophet, or grand man has the power to nationalize any man or woman or child, and those that have taken away a man's true identity are criminals. This practice gave the U.S. courts and outside world the illusion that the MST of A was a religion whose members under the tenets were nationalized with the name Moorish American and loaned the organizational marks of Bay and L. Needful to say, Moors, this nationalization, hoodwinking, was never empowered or practiced by Prophet Noble Drew Ali or any other upright man. No man has the power to nationalize another man. This would change him from the descendant nature of his forefathers. If one can make, which is nationalize, a Moorish American, one can also make a Chinese or a Sudanese at will. You didn't ask that, did you? But they can make you something. This act brought to light a 75-year practice of clandestine cultism within the various MSTA groups, showing how it has systematically denounced 98% of its members as non-Moorish or repo their tribal names, Bay and L. So I'm gonna leave that right there. So if these sheiks talk about some sheiks of the Moorish Science Temple of America, if nationality is the order of the day, wouldn't you want every Negro, black and colored to come through the temple? I would. And then we take it to the world courts. It's that simple. So what's the problem? You see these good, they call themselves some sheiks of the temple. All they talk about, they hustling y'all. If nationality is the order of the day, after you proclaim, declare, and have due process, now let's take it to the world courts. Because there should be 30,000 Moors right now. Now let's take it to the world courts. Go ask your sheik that. They don't got nothing to say. Because they don't know law. They ain't been properly nationalized on the national side of it. Just like when I lecture, Moors are confused in navigating. Moors don't know law. So when they get another Moor that's in the wilderness, they know how to get y'all. Because they'll tell you, I'm about to nationalize you and charge you X amount of dollars to do something you wasted your time. And then they laughing. I say, where your amnesty oath? Where your adoption paper? Where your decree papers? Where your, on the back of your ID card, with your Moorish vital statistics? Nothing. So then you got the Moors pulling that out. You're not part of nothing. You've been fraudulently concealed. Any questions? I'm done. Any questions, Moors? Any questions? I'm telling you, I haven't even got in deep, Moors. I haven't even got complex with the science. Like I'm steady repeating stuff over and over. That's how I know Moors are not studying. That's how when I ask questions, Moors don't even have the 101s. Moors be part of the Moorish Science Temple and they don't have the Moorish Quran. Moors, Man, look, man, just like the Zodiac Constitution. What y'all see on here, that duality, that AA222 number, when Moors be lying, and I tell you the AA22 number has duality. The AA22 number is when you get 30,000 Miss Nimrod colors to go back to the nation and restat and reclassify ourselves. See, this one duality of the AA22 number, which can be looked up in the Clock of Destiny. Man, the 10-10-5-9 ain't nothing but a damn affidavit of organization. It ain't no trust. I lectured this already, Jesse. No disrespect, Brother Bay. I showed y'all that 1010 number ain't no damn trust. It's an affidavit. You can research it from the CCRD. I lectured that a million times. It's a fraud. That 1010 number ain't no damn trust. Ain't no money at no pot of gold at no damn end of the rainbow. That ain't nothing but the trust how the prophet set it up, man. I promise you that. That's how I be saying Moors be lying to Moors. Moors be lying to Moors. I'm like, that's garbage. The 1010 number ain't nothing but an affidavit. I have it on our form and our ID. That's why I be telling Moors. A real Moor that's through the temple, that's teaching, he gonna tell you the truth. These Moors to put numbers on there and get you caught up in the number. And then if the Moorish temple, if people want to enforce the laws, you will go to jail for fraud because you're not part of no temple. I'm telling you facts. I'm telling you real thing. All our stuff should be the same. You can't change nothing. You can't change nothing. You gotta have all that, your baptism, everything, your dispensation, your decree to teach this science. You see this AA2 number? When Moors don't want to tell you the truth. See, I got too many documents and stuff to show you. This is our by C.M. Bay, the Zodiac Constitution. You see here? You see that? You can look that up in the Library of Congress. You can look up the Zodiac laws. I'm telling you. Don't let these Moors keep playing with y'all. They lie. That's garbage, man. That's fraudulent concealment. That's garbage. Man, Moor, I'm getting my Juris Doctorate degree in Indigenous People Policy. A couple of my professors, man, our judges in here. I'll be laughing. I start naming everybody that's locked up, but I don't name drop like that. They got a list that's like the Fed list, a drug task force. They got this thing called sovereign citizens. All of them looked at as domestic terrorists. They all get ready to go to jail. They shaking like Don Knotts. Them Negroes be sending stuff to Provost Marshal, all fraud, because they missing the law. They missing the facts of the law. I'm telling you, man. That's why I said them Negroes can do whatever the hell they want to. It's fraud. That's the duality of the eight. It ain't nothing, and this number ain't nothing but you can look up this stuff in the Library of Congress. They only can do that stuff to a person that don't know. I'm telling y'all, just like the Clock of Destiny. The Clock of Destiny, you can look this stuff up in the Clock of Destiny. I'm telling you, a lot of stuff can be looked up in the Library of Congress. I'm telling y'all, man, these Moors be lying to y'all. The science, look, the science is valid. And then I show y'all the duality of the AA22 number in international law. And then I show y'all the AA22 number in law. You need 30,000 Negro, blacks, and colored to take it to the world course. You said, are there any fact temples in Atlanta, Otto? Hey, look, listen, I don't like to say names. It's a sheik in the list. Listen, all I tell Moors is to ask questions. Where y'all at? This sheik is in Atlanta. I don't like to give names, man, because then people are, they say, I don't like to do that. But it's a sheik in Atlanta. He be all on this one more page. It's a sheik in Atlanta. Everybody say he's y'all. If somebody says his name, and then I'd be like, yep, that's him. Go to the temple and see what it's about, and see if he know anything about that instead of just talking. It's a temple in Atlanta, and I forget his name. Y'all know his name. He be on TV. At his home. I ain't never seen nothing in the temple, but hey, it is what it is. Go to the temple and see. That's what I'll be saying, man. And I know too many Moors in Atlanta, and they ask me, is it a temple in Atlanta? And I'm like, the Moor, everybody be saying he's a sheik, where you have a lot of these so-called people going to with all that fraud mess, talk about he the sheik in Atlanta, which he do have a temple, but I'll be like, I can't deal with nobody that'll let somebody lie to him. I can't deal with, that's why I say a lot of these so-called sheiks, they limited. If you're not fully flavored with history, science, and law, you're not a grandmaster. And that's all I'll be telling people. I don't get caught up in no titles and no figures. Yeah, you might know more science. Okay, now we know all this. Let's take it to the next phase. What do we have? What temple do we have? What do we have built? Do we have an education for our children? We don't have no teaching. So what, you just coming here preaching? So that's preaching. We don't have no school. We ain't building nothing. We don't own nothing. We don't have no finances. That's preaching, man. That's preaching. So it's supposed to be a sheik in Atlanta. I'm waiting for somebody to say the name. Go to the temple and ask them about this. That's why I be telling people, Moors be following characters. I don't follow nobody just because you put a fez on, somebody call you a grand sheik. I'm done, Empress. So that's it. Any more questions? My Empress like, I've been going for 2 hours. I'm done. 1 minute and 44. I said I was going to be done in an hour. Any questions? That's it, y'all. But we're going to teach this Moorish science right. We're going to teach this Moorish science right. And when you become a member and a student, your $100 donation is tax exempt. Once we got 100 Moors giving $100 a month, it's going to be on. It's going to be on. It's going to be on. What you mean you'll love to call in? What you mean, Noble? What you mean you love to call in? I mean, I don't do any debates. Like I said, I ask questions for members and students, but in so-called temple in ATL, you said I would love to call in the so-called temple in ATL. Hey, do you know what temple it is? Like I said, I don't like to say names on nobody temples. I don't like to say no names. But like I said, because a broken clock is correct twice a day. All I'll be saying is I don't care about nobody preaching. I care about moving. A person can talk about all this, and on the Constitution, if you strip the Moors from the fez and the turbans, okay, you done said all that, sheik. Okay, well, why you ain't placing Negroes in fez and turbans? You know? So I hope Moors being taught the right science. That's all. I hope Moors in Sunday school ain't being lied to. No, I ain't say that. I ain't saying no names. I'm not saying no names, Moors. I don't play that. I don't play names. I say it's only one more science. And all a person got to do and study law. A person can argue and bark all day. But when the science and the wisdom in front of your face, all I do is say, hey, gravitate to what you want to gravitate to. But I'm not here for likes. All I tell people, see what my people at in the next year, and you see what people following. And I'm like, that's religion. You know? What you say they don't have one, they just talk on the phone and ask for monthly fees. Damn, Jesse, for real. Hey, Empress, let me finish talking, Empress. Don't let me get off yet, because Jesse revealing some good stuff. Hey, Jesse, I could have told you that. Jesse, it's a fraud. It's just, that's why I don't talk of it. The church is better than these temples. I told Moors, I'm not here to ask a whole bunch of questions. If Moors want to be students, I answer certain questions. You should, if Moors following, you should know about the census thing. A real sheik should teach this. Everybody's not sick in the same manifestations. How can you be in a Moorish science temple? A sheik is an adept. Now, it's many adepts that's not sheiks, but a sheik should have education on a lot of topics. Man, all the time, man, when I teach Sunday school, man, I know Moors that go to temples, they don't even have the Moorish Quran. Then they don't have the Quranic study guide. Then they don't have the catechism to understand the Quran, chapter 20 to 42. They don't have their discovered key questions. They don't have their SO science books. Man, Moors don't have a lot of the science that I have. And I'm like, so what y'all learning in Sunday school? And did history and I don't know what, I don't know. That's why I'd be like, what are Moors learning in these temples? So like I said, man, you said they don't, I don't live off donations, man. I told y'all, we created, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a tax exempt. The real Moorish Science Temple of America have a tax ID card. We got 3 cards, our travel ID card, our nationality card, and our tax exempt card. The Moorish Science Temple of America has a tax exempt card, point blank. The Moorish Science Temple of America, I use it over and over. That's why I'll be like, Moors laugh. I'll be like, I don't know what this is about. So my school, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, I don't live off this. I'm trying to create the temple out here in Arizona. What you say they told us to? What they say they told us to do the proclamation, and then everything will be taken care of, far as traffic. Do that make sense, Jesse? Jesse, do that make sense? Think about it. Oh, so watch this. See, this the garbage. So we think being the more got we finna get some free traffic tickets taken care of. That's the lies, Moors. Just like when these Moors be with that fraudulent 16th amendment, when they telling you don't have to pay no personal taxes. Man, everybody that did that went to jail. The European even did that, went to jail. I show y'all how to do things when you're part of a real nonprofit organization. That don't even make sense, Moor. And then who telling you that? Like, are they showing you some real stuff in law? I mean, like, Moors be coming up with this magical Moorish science garbage. And I'd be like, okay, you gonna let somebody do that? Then gave us a certificate with a Washington, D.C. number in law enforcement request an ID or license. Man, look that garbage up. Why are we so gullible? Man, that's fraud. They told us to do proclamation. That's called fraudulent. In law, that's called fraudulent concealment. In law, that's called fraudulent concealment. They told us to do the proclamation, and then everything will be taken care of, far as in traffic violation. That's a lie. Then gave us a certificate. What certificate? With a Washington, D.C. number in law enforcement request an ID or license. What type of, and then gave you a certificate. What type of certificate? Y'all stop falling with seals. Anybody can go to, man, I can go to FedEx and get a seal. That ain't nothing. I mean, come on, that's garbage. Come on, that's all garbage, man. Listen, I'll destroy that. I bet you they ain't doing it. I bet you they ain't doing it. That's garbage because they get Negroes that's gullible. The certificate is supposed to be ID just in case law enforcement or court. Man, that's garbage. That's garbage. That's garbage, man. And they know it. They know that's garbage. That shit don't work nowhere. What do our prophets say? Your ID is for your, man, hold on, man. Your ID is for your salvation. Failure to, that's why, listen. Our prophet warned all Muslims, governors, ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work or in their homes or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causing confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. So when you pull them cards out, that ain't worth shit. It ain't worth nothing. Those ID cards for the Moorish Science, those ID cards are for the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they know that. They plan on people innocence. I don't care. That's why I said I ain't with nobody. I told you I ain't with nobody with garbage. Show it to who? That shit ain't nothing. It ain't attached to nothing. Don't know government people make their own ID? Because it ain't, come on, man, y'all got to know this. It's fraud. If we're tribal, we take it to the world coast. Our ID is for our ID. Why would we be pulling that on person to do anything? For what? Why would we have to pull that? Okay, you get into a situation, why would you pull that out on anybody? In what situation? To do what? Because when you driving, why would you pull some stupid ass Moorish license out when you drive? What you gonna say? See, this is dumb shit. And if they tell them to do it, tell them to do it. You got a Moorish ID and you get that to a cop. What is that for? Yeah, but they said keep it to ourselves. Really, they told us to show it. Show it to who? Man, you can go to jail. Man, those IDs for y'all. Those IDs for the Moorish Science Temple of America. You got these lying and Moorish talk about they going around nationalize people to some Moorish American consulate. It ain't one. And some MAC number. That's fraud, Moors. Them Negroes in jail. This is simple, man. Yes, we can self-identify, but do you want a card that bad? What is a card going to do for you? If you annex your B and the L to all your ID and stuff, which is your right, and proclaim, declare, and have due process, and the old becomes new. Everything you sign, you sign your B and your L on it. Moors ain't doing that, but they want some damn ID. Why? Why, Moors? Your ID, your 3 ID cards should be for the Moorish Science Temple of America. You shouldn't have to do nothing else. If we got our 3 ID cards, our membership ID card, and all our paperwork, our baptism paper and all that. All that other stuff is irrelevant, Moors. All that stuff is irrelevant. That's just how they making money off Negroes. They using y'all as crash dummies, man. This is garbage. Looking at some sovereign citizen, man. I'm telling you, Negroes looking at domestic terrorists. A lot of families finna go to jail. Just like y'all got that one lady that was on the internet, I don't want to say her name, and y'all had that so-called Grand Sheik on there, they talking all this day land, and don't pay no bills, and this, not in the house. Where's she at right now? Her ass in jail. Where her children? With other family members. Because it's fraud. I'm telling y'all. And then them Negro fraudulent concealing y'all. All them Negroes with them fake IDs, with some sundry Morat. You going to jail. Some sovereign citizen. This is your home. And the lady was making videos. This the thing that fathoms me. Here you got these Negroes talk about this day land, and they in libraries and schools, written area, talk about this day land, talk about some de facto government, all this stupid stuff on the internet, and this your land, and you in jail. And you in jail. You in jail. And the person, and then I feel sorry for the Empress because, hell, someone had to bring that garbage to her. And then you got the so-called Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple. He ain't in jail. And then the so-called Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple telling people to drive without license. Them people that got their ass killed, he ain't in jail. That person that telling you do that, that's a hypocrite if they ain't doing it. They sitting they black ass in the back seat while they driving with license. So I said, I ain't here for no games. Negroes in the feds ain't my friend. All fraud. All fraud. All that stuff don't mean nothing. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. If we want to be somewhere, we take this to the world courts. If it's the true Moorish Science Temple of America and it's in Atlanta, the Moorish Science Temple should be making nationalize people through the temple, making them members in the temple. And then we take it to the world courts. That's it. Anything else, they lying. Moors I done heard Moors talk about somebody told him to go get some silver notes and go get all this garbage. I said, to do what? It's all fraud. Y'all should know this. Can no goofball sitting at home make you no more or nationalize you? I don't have the power to do that. I'll show you how to proclaim, declare, and have due process, and wear your fez and your turban, and next your bay and your L to all your ID and things. And then we sign a petition and we take it to the world courts, just like anybody else do things when they sign a petition, the proper petition to do things politically. Are y'all following me? So with that being said, Moors, I love y'all, Islam, and I went for 2 hours, and my Empress. And I went for 2 hours, and I said I wouldn't, and I did. Told y'all, Moors, these Moors and these so-called sheiks, they act like some damn Southern Baptist preachers. More science ain't no damn religion. And then you got an old goofball that got a 3rd grade education talking about he's some more sheik. Man, please, what you doing, you a disservice. All that old stuff, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, man. Let's deal with today. Let's deal with law. Let's take this further. And you don't have to be a part of that crap. Get out of that and come to this real auspices and let's do the right thing, man. Let's teach our babies. Let our kids have fezzes and turbans. Let's teach this science right. So when Black History come, our children can have stuff to compare to. In religion, I can show you all the books is from us. I can show you all the books that they got the science from. Islam.